Most people think November means the garden goes to sleep, but it doesn't have to be that way. Today I'm going to show you 15 crops that make growing food in November feel doable and even enjoyable, whether you're gardening indoors on a windowsill or outdoors in your yard. These aren't complicated. They're simple, hardy plants that actually prefer cooler weather. If you're new here, welcome to Zero to Purpose, where we take simple, hands-on steps to live more creatively, sustainably, and intentionally. No fancy equipment needed, no green thumb required, just practical ideas you can start today. Grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's discover what you can grow this November. By the end, you'll have a clear plan for fresh food through winter. Crop number 1, garlic. Let's start with garlic, one of the easiest and most rewarding crops for November planting. This is important because garlic actually needs cold weather to form proper bulbs, something called vernalization that happens naturally when you plant in fall. Without that chill period, you'll get small, undivided bulbs that aren't nearly as useful in the kitchen. November planting, ideally 2 weeks before your first frost, gives the cloves time to develop roots before winter sets in hard. Here's how simple it is. Break apart a garlic bulb into individual cloves, choosing the biggest, healthiest ones. Find a sunny spot outdoors with well-drained soil. Plant each clove 2 inches deep with the pointy end facing up, spacing them about 6 inches apart. Cover with soil and add a layer of mulch. Straw, leaves, or wood chips work perfectly to protect them from temperature swings. Water lightly if the soil is dry, then leave them alone. Through winter, they'll need almost no attention. Come June or July, you'll harvest fresh garlic that's worlds better than anything from the store. The payoff here is enormous. Minimal effort for maximum flavor, and you'll save money all year long. One small tip, save your very best cloves for planting rather than eating them, because bigger cloves produce bigger bulbs. Crop number 2, spinach. Spinach is the perfect beginner crop because it thrives in cool weather and actually gets sweeter after a light frost touches the leaves. This matters because summer spinach bolts quickly and turns bitter, but November spinach grows slow and steady with incredible flavor. Why does this work so well? Cold hardy varieties like fava or winter bloomsdale can tolerate temperatures well below freezing once they're established, and unlike warm season greens, they won't suddenly shoot up flower stalks and become inedible. Starting is straightforward. Choose a frost-tolerant variety and decide whether you're growing indoors in containers or outdoors in raised beds. Both work beautifully. Scatter seeds about 1/2 inch deep in moist soil, spacing them roughly 1 inch apart. Once they sprout in about a week, thin seedlings to 3 or 4 inches apart so each plant has room to grow. For maintenance, water lightly when soil feels dry, and if temperatures drop below 20 degrees Fahrenheit, drape a frost cover or row cover over outdoor plants for extra protection. The practical payoff is continuous, fresh salad greens through winter, packed with iron and vitamins your family needs. You can harvest outer leaves without killing the plant, so one planting keeps producing for months. Pro tip: if outdoor space is limited, spinach grows beautifully in shallow containers on a bright windowsill. Crop number 3, kale. Kale deserves its reputation as one of the most cold-hardy vegetables you can grow. It survives temperatures down to 20 degrees Fahrenheit and keeps producing long after other crops have quit. This is important because frost actually improves the flavor, converting starches to sugars and making the leaves sweeter and less bitter. Why kale works so well in November is that specific varieties like dwarf blue curled and red Russian are bred specifically for winter growing, with individual leaves ready to pick in just 21 days from planting. Here's your simple approach. Sow seeds directly outdoors in your garden bed, or start them in small pots indoors if you want more control over germination. Plant seeds about 1 inch deep and 12 inches apart. Water gently right after planting to settle the soil around seeds. For maintenance, the key is harvesting correctly. Always pick outer leaves first, leaving the center growth point intact so the plant continues producing new leaves from the middle. This single habit turns one kale plant into a months-long harvest. The practical benefit is continuous greens through the entire winter season, perfect for soups, smoothies, and sautéed side dishes. Your grocery bill drops while your nutrition skyrockets. One thing most people don't realize: kale tastes best after 2 or 3 hard frosts, so resist harvesting too early. Wait for a cold snap, then enjoy the sweetest leaves you've ever tasted. Crop number 4, lettuce. Lettuce is one of those crops that struggles in summer heat but absolutely thrives when you plant it in November's cool temperatures. This matters because hot weather causes lettuce to bolt, shooting up a flower stalk that makes leaves bitter and inedible, but cold weather keeps it sweet, crisp, and productive for months. The science behind this is simple. Lettuce evolved as a cool season plant, and November conditions match its natural preferences perfectly. Fast-growing varieties mature in just 30 to 40 days, even in cooler soil. Here's how to get started. Choose loose-leaf or butterhead varieties rather than tight-heading types because they're more forgiving and faster to harvest. Sprinkle seeds lightly across your soil surface, whether that's a container, raised bed, or garden row. Barely cover them with a thin layer of soil. Lettuce seeds need some light to germinate properly. Keep soil consistently moist by watering gently every few days. Once seedlings emerge, thin them to about 4 inches apart. If temperatures in your area dip below 30 degrees Fahrenheit regularly, add a simple frost cover or plastic row cover to extend your harvest. The practical payoff is fresh salads without grocery store trips, and one packet of seeds produces literally months of greens for just a few dollars. Pro tip: instead of planting all your seeds at once, sow small amounts every 2 weeks for a continuous rolling harvest rather than one big crop that matures all at once. Crop number 5. Arugula. Arugula, sometimes called rocket, is the fastest growing crop on this entire list, ready to eat in just 3 weeks from seed. This is important because when you want quick results and fast nutrition, nothing beats arugula for speed and simplicity. The peppery flavor adds variety to winter salads that might otherwise feel repetitive. Why arugula works so beautifully in November is that it requires very little sunlight compared to other greens, and cold weather actually mellows that intense spiciness, making it more palatable for people who find summer arugula too strong. Here's your simple 3-step approach. Arugula works perfectly in containers, window boxes, or traditional garden rows. Your choice depends on available space. Sow seeds about 1/4 inch deep in rows spaced 6 inches apart. Seeds germinate quickly, usually within 5 to 7 days. Water lightly and consistently to keep soil moist but not waterlogged. For maintenance, harvest outer leaves when they reach 2 to 3 inches tall, and the plant will keep producing new leaves from the center. This means you can get 3 separate harvests from a single planting if you don't pull up the roots. The practical payoff is having salad greens before Thanksgiving, and arugula grows so fast you can succession plant every week for continuous supply. It costs pennies and grows in spaces where other crops wouldn't fit. Pro tip: mix arugula with milder lettuce in your salads. The peppery kick complements sweet, mild greens and creates a more complex, restaurant-quality flavor profile. If these ideas are inspiring you, tap the like button so more people can discover simple ways to grow food in November. And tell me in the comments, which crop are you most excited to try first? Are you thinking about the quick microgreens, the sweet winter carrots, or maybe planting garlic for next summer? I genuinely love hearing what you're planning to grow and learning from your experiences. Your comments help build this community and inspire other viewers to take that first step. Crop number 6, bunching onions. Bunching onions, also called spring onions or scallions, are incredibly frost-tolerant and one of the easiest crops for complete beginners. This matters because they provide fresh onion flavor while you're waiting months for bulb onions to mature, and they take up almost no garden space. Why they work so well in November is that varieties like White Lisbon and Performer handle cold weather without any protection, continuing to grow slowly even through winter frosts. They're virtually indestructible once established. Here's how to grow them successfully. Choose a container at least 6 inches deep or carve out a small spot in your garden bed. Plant seeds about 1/2 inch deep in small clusters rather than precise rows. Bunching onions are forgiving about spacing. Thin seedlings to about 1 inch apart once they sprout, which happens quickly. For maintenance, water whenever the soil feels dry, which is less frequent in cool weather than summer. You have 2 harvest options. Pull entire plants when they're pencil thick, or trim just the green tops and leave roots in the soil. If you choose the second method, roots will regrow 2 or 3 times, multiplying your harvest from one planting. The practical benefit is fresh onion taste in soups, stir-fries, omelets, and garnishes whenever you need it. These are virtually pest-free due to their strong smell. Pro tip: after cutting green tops, Leave roots undisturbed in soil, and they'll regrow surprisingly fast, giving you several harvests from the same plants. Crop number 7. Radishes. Radishes have the shortest season of any crop in this list, harvest in as little as 25 to 30 days from planting. This is important because fast results keep you motivated, and radishes are perfect for filling small gaps between slower growing plants. They're ideal for kids or new gardeners who want to see quick success. Why radishes work so well in November is that they germinate quickly, even in cold soil, and cool weather keeps them crisp and sweet, rather than woody and overly spicy like summer radishes often become. Here's your simple growing method. Choose a small container or garden row with loose, fluffy soil. Radishes need room to expand underground. Sow seeds about ½ inch deep and 1 inch apart in straight rows or scattered clusters. Water immediately after planting to encourage germination. Within a few days, you'll see green sprouts emerging. Here's the critical step most people skip. Thin seedlings to 2 inches apart once they're an inch tall. Crowded radishes stay small and develop tough, woody texture instead of staying crisp. For maintenance, water consistently and harvest when radishes reach marble size, about 3/4 of an inch across. The practical payoff is crunchy snacks ready before most other crops even germinate. Kids especially love radishes because fast results hold their attention and keep them interested in gardening. Pro tip: don't skip the thinning step even though it feels wasteful. Those tiny thinned seedlings are actually edible as microgreens in salads. Crop number 8. Fava beans. Fava beans, sometimes called broad beans, are one of the hardiest legumes that actually prefer cold weather over heat. This is important because while they grow slowly through winter, they reward your patience with an early spring harvest when almost nothing else is ready. Plus, fava beans enrich your soil with nitrogen while they grow, which benefits next season's crops. You're literally improving your garden while growing food. Why they work in November is that varieties like Windsor and Aqua Dulce tolerate frost and even snow once established. They overwinter in the garden, developing strong root systems that explode with growth when spring arrives. Here's how to plant them. Fava beans need outdoor garden space rather than small containers. They grow tall and need room. Plant seeds 2 inches deep and 6 inches apart in double rows, which helps plants support each other as they grow. Water after planting. For maintenance, you may need to stake plants if they grow taller than 2 feet, and protect young seedlings with a frost cover during their first few weeks if you experience severe cold snaps below 15 degrees. The practical payoff is fresh beans ready in early spring, March through May, depending on your climate, when little else is harvestable from the garden. Those early harvests feel like gold. Plus, the nitrogen-fixing roots improve soil quality for whatever you plant next. Pro tip: soak seeds overnight in room temperature water before planting to speed up germination in cold soil. Crop number 9. Swiss chard. Swiss chard is an underappreciated vegetable that continues producing through fall and winter with minimal care. This is important because one planting produces for months using cut-and-come-again harvesting, and the colorful stems, red, yellow, orange, white, add visual interest to otherwise drab winter gardens. Why chard works beautifully in November is that it's actually more cold-tolerant than spinach once established, handling light frosts without damage. It's incredibly low maintenance compared to fussier greens. Here's your growing approach. Swiss chard works equally well in containers at least 12 inches deep or traditional garden beds. Your choice. Sow seeds about 1 inch deep and 6 inches apart. Water after planting to settle soil around seeds. Germination takes 7 to 14 days. For maintenance, the key is harvesting correctly. Cut outer leaves at the base, leaving the center growth point intact. This allows the plant to keep producing new leaves from the middle for months of continuous harvest. Water when soil feels dry, which is infrequent in cool weather. The practical benefit is versatile greens you can use exactly like spinach in any recipe, sautéed in soups and pasta dishes or raw in salads when leaves are young and tender. One planting provides consistent fresh greens rather than feast or famine harvests. Pro tip: rainbow chard varieties taste identical to plain green chard, but those colorful stems make meals look more appealing. Kids especially are more likely to eat vegetables that look interesting. Crop number 10. Bok choy. Bok choy, also called pak choy, is an Asian green that matures quickly, harvest in 45 to 60 days, and offers both crunchy stems and tender leaves in one plant. This is important because you get two different textures and flavors from a single crop, adding variety to your winter meals. Why bok choy works in November is that it's frost-tolerant once established and thrives in cool weather that would stress other vegetables. It germinates quickly, usually within 5 to 10 days, so you see results fast enough to stay motivated. Here's how to grow it successfully. Plant early November for best results. Bok choy needs time to size up before deep winter arrives. It works in garden beds or large containers at least 10 inches deep. Sow seeds about half an inch deep and 6 to 8 inches apart. Water after planting. Seedlings emerge within a week. For maintenance, use a frost cover or row cover when temperatures drop below 25 degrees Fahrenheit, especially protecting young plants. Keep soil consistently moist but not waterlogged. You have two harvest options. Cut entire plants at soil level when they're 6 to 8 inches tall, or harvest outer leaves individually for extended production. The practical payoff is perfect vegetables for stir-fries, soups, and Asian-inspired dishes your family will love. The mild cabbage flavor works in dozens of recipes. Pro tip: baby bok choy varieties mature even faster, ready in just 30 days, if you want quicker results or have limited growing time before hard winter. Crop Nurs 11. Parsley. Parsley is a cool season herb that struggles in summer heat but absolutely loves November's cooler temperatures. This is important because fresh herbs elevate even simple meals, turning basic pasta or soup into something special. Store-bought herbs are expensive and spoil quickly, but homegrown parsley provides fresh flavor for months from a single plant. Why parsley works well in November is that Italian flat-leaf varieties are significantly hardier than curly types, tolerating light frosts without damage. It grows beautifully in containers, on windowsills, or in protected outdoor spots. Here's your simple method. Choose a small pot, 6 to 8 inches across, with drainage holes in the bottom. Before planting, soak parsley seeds in room temperature water for 24 hours. This is critical because parsley has a tough seed coat that slows germination. Sow seeds about a 1/4 inch deep in moist potting soil. Place your container in a bright spot, a south-facing window indoors, or a protected patio outdoors. For maintenance, water whenever the top inch of soil feels dry to your finger. Harvest by cutting outer stems at the base, leaving the center growth point to produce new stems. The practical payoff is fresh garnish and flavor booster always within reach. One plant provides continuous harvest for months, paying for itself many times over compared to buying fresh herbs weekly. Pro tip: parsley is notoriously slow to germinate, taking 2 to 3 weeks sometimes. Be patient, keep soil moist, and don't give up. Those seeds will eventually sprout. Crop Nr 12. Carrots. Carrots planted in November become sweeter than summer carrots because cold temperatures trigger the plant to convert starches into sugars, a natural antifreeze response that makes them taste incredible. This is important because winter carrots are crispy, sweet, and far superior to anything you'd grow in warm weather. Why carrots work in November is that once roots establish, they're remarkably frost-tolerant. Varieties like red Cored Chantenay and Shin Kuroda handle cold extremely well and can actually stay in the ground through winter, letting you harvest as needed rather than storing them. Here's how to grow carrots. Carrots need loose, deep soil, at least 12 inches, so raised beds or deep containers work best. Heavy clay soil produces short, twisted carrots. Sow seeds about a 1/4 inch deep in rows or scattered broadly across your planting area. After sprouting, thin seedlings to 2 inches apart. This step is critical for proper root development. For maintenance, water consistently until seedlings establish, then reduce watering frequency. Add mulch or a frost cover if you experience harsh cold below 20 degrees. The practical payoff is sweet, crispy carrots throughout winter that you harvest directly from the garden, no storage needed. They taste better fresh from cold soil than stored carrots ever could. Pro tip: carrot seeds are tiny and difficult to space properly. Mix seeds with dry sand in a small container, then sprinkle the sand seed mixture for easier, more even distribution. Crop Nr 13. Beets. Beets are space-efficient crops perfect for filling small gaps in your garden, and here's something most people don't know. Both the roots and the greens are edible. giving you 2 crops from 1 planting. This is important because young beet greens taste similar to Swiss chard and provide early harvests while you wait for roots to size up. Why beets work in November is that they tolerate light frost well once established, and they mature in about 60 days, even in cool weather. Compact varieties are perfect for containers or small garden spaces. Here's your growing approach. Choose varieties like Detroit Dark Red or Robin that mature faster than standard types. Soak seeds overnight before planting to speed germination. Plant seeds about 1 inch deep and 3 inches apart in rows or clusters. Water gently after planting. For maintenance, thin seedlings to 4 inches apart once they reach 2 inches tall. Those thinned seedlings are edible baby greens, so don't waste them. Water consistently throughout the growing period. Harvest roots when they reach golf ball size for best flavor and texture. Larger beets can become woody. The practical payoff is nutritious roots for roasting, pickling, or adding raw to salads, plus bonus greens harvested early. Beets are packed with nutrients and natural sweetness that even vegetable-resistant kids often enjoy. Pro tip: each beet seed is actually a cluster of seeds, so expect multiple seedlings to emerge from each spot you planted. This is normal. Just thin to the strongest seedling. Crop number 14. Turnips. Turnips are often overlooked vegetables, but they're incredibly easy to grow and surprisingly nutritious. This is important because fast-maturing varieties produce harvest-ready roots in just 40 to 50 days, and they handle light frost without damage. Cool weather makes turnips mild and sweet instead of spicy and bitter. Why turnips work well in November is that modern varieties like White Lady and Hakurei are bred specifically for quick maturity and sweet flavor. They grow in conditions that would stress more demanding crops. Here's your simple method. Direct sow seeds in early November in your garden or large containers at least 8 inches deep. Plant seeds about ½ an inch deep and 4 inches apart. Water after planting. Germination happens within 5 to 7 days. For maintenance, frost cover is recommended if you live in zones below Zone 7 and experience hard freezes. Water consistently to prevent roots from cracking or becoming woody. Harvest when roots reach golf ball to tennis ball size. Smaller turnips have milder, sweeter flavor than large ones. The practical payoff is versatile root vegetables for roasting, mashing into potatoes, or adding to soups and stews. Plus, turnip greens are edible and nutritious, giving you bonus harvests. Many people who think they dislike turnips have only tried large, old, bitter ones. Small November-grown turnips taste completely different. Pro tip: harvest young for the mildest flavor. Large turnips can develop strong flavor and woody texture that many people find unpleasant. Crop number 15. Microgreens. Microgreens are the most nutrient-dense food you can grow. Research shows they contain up to 40 times more vitamins and minerals than mature plants. This is important because in just 7 to 14 days, you can grow incredibly nutritious food using almost no space. Why microgreens work perfectly for November is that they're completely climate independent. Grow them indoors on your kitchen counter year-round regardless of weather outside. They require minimal space, just a shallow tray, and no gardening experience whatsoever. Here's your simple approach. Find a shallow tray 1 to 2 inches deep, fill with moistened potting mix, and choose seeds. Broccoli, radish, or mixed salad blends work beautifully. Spread seeds densely across the soil surface, mist with water, and cover with a lid or second tray to create darkness. Check daily and remove the cover once seeds sprout, usually within 2 to 4 days. Place in bright light, a sunny windowsill, or under a simple grow light. Mist daily to keep soil moist but not soggy. When seedlings reach 2 to 3 inches tall, harvest by cutting with scissors just above soil level. The practical payoff is concentrated nutrition in tiny packages that cost pennies compared to store-bought microgreens, which can cost $15 per small container. Add to sandwiches, salads, smoothies, or as garnish. Pro tip: reuse plastic takeout containers as trays after poking drainage holes in the bottom. Try specialty seed blends like Italian Amaro or Umami Asian for complex restaurant-quality flavors. Bonus tip: the windowsill herb garden. Here's something most people overlook when thinking about November growing. You can create a complete windowsill herb garden that produces fresh flavor all winter long without stepping outside once. This is particularly valuable for anyone with limited mobility, small living spaces, or harsh winter climates. The beauty of windowsill herbs is that they're low cost, simple, high impact, and universal. They work regardless of your outdoor growing conditions. Here's why this matters. Fresh herbs from grocery stores cost $4 to $6 per tiny package, wilt within days, and often contain pesticides. Growing your own means unlimited fresh herbs for the price of a single seed packet or small starter plant. Start with the easiest three: basil, parsley, and chives. Choose containers 4 to 6 inches deep with drainage holes. Old mugs, cleaned food containers, or small pots all work perfectly. Fill with quality potting mix, not garden soil. Plant one herb per container, water thoroughly, and place in your brightest window, preferably south-facing. For maintenance, water when the top inch of soil feels dry, which might be every 3 to 5 days depending on your home's humidity. Harvest by pinching or cutting outer stems and leaves, never removing more than 1/3 of the plant at once. This encourages bushier growth and continuous production. The practical payoff is enormous. You'll save hundreds of dollars over winter while having fresh flavor that transforms basic meals into something special. Pasta, soups, eggs, sandwiches, everything tastes better with fresh herbs. One overlooked tip: if your window doesn't get at least 4 hours of direct sun, add an inexpensive LED grow light. They cost $15 to $20 and make the difference between struggling plants and abundant harvests. So no matter your space, your experience level, or your climate, you can start growing food in November. These 15 crops prove you don't need perfect conditions or years of expertise. You just need willingness to begin where you are with what you have. Whether you're planting garlic cloves outside for next summer, scattering spinach seeds in a container, or growing microgreens on your kitchen counter, you're taking a meaningful step toward more purposeful, sustainable living. Each small action builds confidence and skills. Pick just one idea from today's list and try it this week. Start with whatever feels most exciting or achievable. Maybe it's the super fast microgreens if you want quick results, or perhaps the sweet winter carrots if you love the idea of harvesting fresh vegetables from frozen ground. There's no wrong choice. Drop a comment below and tell me what you're starting with. I read every single one and I genuinely love to hear your plans. And if you haven't subscribed yet, join us here at Zero to Purpose, where we grow life one simple project at a time. Every week, we explore practical ways to live with more intention, creativity, and connection to the natural world. Thanks so much for being here today. I'll see you in the next one.